Welcome to Kitchen to Cash, our food business podcast. My name is Ashish, and with me is Satvir, our in house food expert. Hi, Satvir.
Hi Ashish, how are you?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good, Ashish. What are we going to discuss today, Ashish?
So, I think let's continue from the place we left in the last episode, where we were talking about running a food business from your home kitchen.
Yep.
So let's move to the next logical step that we spoke about, which is kitchen on wheels. So not buying a space of your own, but moving out of your home kitchen. So
Yes.
let's talk about food on wheels.
So
So what are the options, Satvir?
there are basically three broad options. You can either
Hmm.
have a small cart, that's
Okay.
one part. Then you can
Hmm.
run a small business from the rear of your vehicle,
Okay.
right? And the third is having a food truck,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So all three of them have their pros and cons and the investment attached to
Okay.
them. And all
Okay. So
three
let's
are,
let's go one by one. Let's go to them in a little bit of detail, starting with food cart. So what what exactly do you mean when you say a food cart? A ready or what?
yes, a ready is a food cart like all businesses, and it is
Okay.
a food business in the end, right? If you
Okay.
think
Yes.
about it, somebody selling golgappas
Hmm.
or a tikki on top of a
Okay.
ready or a cart,
Hmm.
that's a food business,
Hmm.
and people do it so successfully.
Right.
There's always a cart everybody goes to for golgappa, for tikki, or
Hmm.
some other kind of Indian snack. Samosa,
Hmm.
for example,
Hmm.
people usually go to a cart
Hmm.
and they'll say that,
Right.
let's say they'll say ABC's name and they'll say, wow, he makes the best samosas. Even the
Best
biggest shop in
samosas. Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
town
Pav
doesn't
bhaji, samosa, vada
samosa.
pav, I think. Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
is one business that gives you a lot of cash every day. It's a cash business.
Hmm.
But the only issue
Hmm.
with it is it's price sensitive market it deals in.
Hmm.
So there's not a lot you
Hmm.
can charge your customers for it. But
Hmm.
customers want a good hygiene to be maintained at that place,
Hmm.
right? And then only
Hmm.
does it work. Although there are a lot of
Hmm.
innovations that
Hmm.
have come into it, and there are different kind of cart businesses that are there.
Hmm.
Let's not only get confused with somebody running a small ready. For example, um, let's say somebody wants to sell coconut water. So they set up a specialized cart. They hire a couple of people. Now those people are going to run the cart, and you're running the business. Your
You are
business
running the business.
model,
Yeah.
your business model requires a cart because carts are
Hmm.
mobile. You don't need to think about um, they're human powered. You don't need to think about petrol, diesel, engine failure, other things,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Licensing issues.
Licensing issues. Then we've all
Hmm.
seen the good amount of ice cream carts out there. Even the biggest
Right.
corporates are running ice cream carts.
Right.
So
Right.
cart business, if done properly in an organized way, is an easy way to
Hmm.
create your mark, and a good
Hmm.
amount of cash flow can be brought in. Third
Hmm.
part is that there's a lot of profit sharing in cart business if you run it as a big
Hmm.
organization. So what happens is
Hmm.
that you hire a couple of people and you tell them, if you sell this amount of product every day,
Hmm.
this is the
Hmm.
amount of profit sharing that goes to you.
Okay.
So that is another
Hmm.
part to it.
Interesting.
Third part is it's
Okay.
mobile. So you
Right.
can simply take your cart from one place to other. It doesn't matter to you anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the new system that have come into cart is coconut water. That's one.
Hmm.
Golgappas, the
Hmm.
hygienically packed ones, which have a small
Hmm.
machine like a soda maker attached to them, and everybody can
Hmm.
refill their Golgappas on their own by pressing a button.
Okay.
That's another.
Okay.
Then
Hmm.
we've all seen that cold coffee fad that is going on right now, and they are selling cold
Hmm.
coffees in a cart. Ice cream carts have already always been there.
Always been there. Yeah, yeah.
They've always been there. Then you'll see sweet
Hmm.
corn. The sweet corn kernels which are being sold in a small cups. That's also a cart
Right,
business. Sugarcane juice is the
right,
new one.
right.
So there are more
Hmm.
people can invest into, like fruit carts are not readily available. And
Hmm.
a point to that is also that the fruit is expensive and is perishable. But
Hmm.
apart from
Hmm.
that, if you want to innovate
Hmm.
and if you can create a network for yourself, then you're a
Hmm.
real business owner in a food business. You don't need to go
Hmm.
out, cook all the time by yourself to make
Hmm.
money. You can have a product, a
Hmm.
single product, which anybody
Hmm.
can prepare for you, and you do a profit
Hmm.
sharing with them, and you'll have a running business for you. That's the
Right.
beauty of it. Yeah, because
Hmm.
everybody, when we talk about cart, they think, oh, will it be one man? I'll be
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
carrying the cart with
It seems
myself.
very, very labor intensive, and frankly, it seems a little less glamorous than the
Yes,
other food businesses. So you always think that why would I get into a food cart?
food cart
But I think there are more and enough examples where people are doing very good with their food carts, and they've created a brand name with their
around
food
it.
carts.
And abroad, especially in US and Canada, you'll see a lot of big names associated with food carts who've made like
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
multi-dollar million chains, right? So
Hmm.
they've got a huge chain now, which is worth millions now.
Hmm.
They started from the
Hmm.
food cart or a food truck,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So this is one business that you need to know what you're gonna sell
Hmm.
and how much profit are you gonna get out of it.
Ah, you going to.
It all depends
So
upon the
what
kind
are
of,
the hmm.
sorry, go on, Ashish.
Please go ahead.
So I was saying that it all depends upon how do you market your brand? What
Hmm.
kind of packaging material do you use? How well
Hmm.
dressed your people are on the cart? So those are the things
Hmm.
which make things better for you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what are the challenges? What are the challenges in this food cart business?
Um, you need to have a good team. That's the most important thing.
Hmm.
Um, the kind of cart you're creating is
Hmm.
only for a specific business.
Hmm.
For example, if you have a freezer for ice cream on your cart, now that freezer can be used for many other things. It can only be used for a frozen product, and it has to get back attached back. You have to attach it back to electricity source so that this stuff gets frozen again overnight, so you can sell it the
Hmm.
next day. And the same goes
Hmm.
for um, the kernel business, the sweet corn kernel
Hmm.
that you're setting. Now that's going to have a steamer, and you can only sell this, or you can probably add dim sums or momos to it.
Okay.
Now that will still give you some option to play with. But the next
Hmm.
one, like for example, a sugarcane juice cart, you cannot
Hmm.
do anything else with it. So
Hmm.
this is the main disadvantage of this business. You have to be
Hmm.
very sure what you're getting into,
Hmm.
and you need to know the kind of market you're going to cater to.
Hmm.
That is one thing about
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
third is that in a cart, you cannot cook and store food.
Okay.
So the temperature variance in the food is always going to be there. That is
Hmm.
why the food cart, usually in food cart business, only single product is kept, which doesn't
Hmm.
really go bad in a couple of hours.
Hmm.
So you need to look into
Hmm.
those aspects.
Okay.
Food cart business
Hmm.
is a wonderful business for people who want to try into new ventures. For example, soft drinks. The
Hmm.
old Indian soft drinks, like the one with the marble in it, what we call a
Hmm.
batta or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, if somebody wants to start a new factory rather than going the traditional way,
Hmm.
you can have small carts, market it from
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Or you want to
Okay.
start with lemon water, jaljeera, then you
Hmm.
can do it from there. It comes pre-packaged, or it's a dispenser out there. So
Hmm.
that makes it good. Or a kulfi shop. It runs perfectly on a cart. The best part is the cart can move towards different kind of places so that your profit stays intact. So it might be
But
parked.
here, again, if you are outsourcing it, then it might be good. But taking it places, one, would you do it yourself? One, secondly, will you have the permissions? What are the permissions that you require for such a thing?
So different municipal corporations have different permissions attached to it. The FSSAI licensing for vending carts is very clear. You can easily obtain it from the FSSAI website. You just need to specify what kind of a business do you want to deal with and what product are you going to sell, right? The food inspector can always come to any cart and take a sample of it. The bigger thing here is that the municipal corporation allows you to park your cart at a place. So for which a permission can be sought from the corporation or your local management government body, and then you can park your cart. This business is very well organized. You don't need to worry much about it. Right? The only thing about this business is that people who will be running cart, there'll be a lot of iteration there. So you'll always see new people coming in, old ones going out. But if your product is right and your profit sharing is right, people will like to stick with you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you are basically outsourcing it to people who will be running this cart for you.
Cart for you. You don't need to run this business yourself. Even this business complements the home kitchen thing.
Okay.
So if you have a single product at home,
challenge here, what comes to my mind, and tell me how can people take care of that challenge. Suppose you train someone to run the cart, and if they are the ones who are doing the cooking there, then what stops them from going ahead and starting a cart of their own?
Yes, that is there, Ashish. The point is that most of the food that goes on a cart is semi-cooked. So let's say you're running a momos cart and you have multiple of them. Now you'll be running it from either from your home kitchen or you have a base kitchen from which you're going to prepare all this stuff. And there's a particular flavor you are able to attain in that business or with those food product you are selling. Now replicating the taste is something that the cart guy cannot do because he's not there cooking for you. Now, many people make this mistake. They have the same people who are cooking for them or helping them cook the food, and then they are the same people who are going out and selling the same product. Then they know how you're preparing it, what are the ingredients, how to attain the same flavor. But if you're not making this mistake, then you don't need to worry.
Okay.
Yes. The second part in this is you don't need to worry because there's a cost associated with it. Right? Everybody, look, if you do something good, people are going to try and replicate it. Right? But there's a cost involved to the business, and everybody, people don't want to invest, Ashish.
Yeah.
That's a deterrent in any business, right? The same as
not many people are risk takers, so they much rather get into a job rather than starting something of their own.
It can be more of a chai time talk. Oh, I like that business. I don't think so. There's investment involved in it. It can be that, but replicating a business model altogether, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes investment.
So talking about investment, what is the kind of ballpark investment that we are looking at in this kind of a business?
Without refrigeration, a cart would not cost you more than 40,000. And with refrigerator, a cart can cost you around 75, 78,000. So it depends upon the city to city and the materials that you choose, but not more than that. Now, the beauty of this system is that if you already have the know-how and your product is clear to you, that what you're going to sell,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
you can design a cart around it. It's only the
Okay.
first cart which is going to take the majority of your mind, thinking,
Hmm.
right? But after that, your product is going to be good. There's another part to
Hmm.
it. You
Hmm.
can even go for franchise business once your couple of carts are running.
Hmm.
So for your
Hmm.
neighboring city, you can give a franchise to somebody. You can sell the
Hmm.
carts to them. You can sell the product to them.
Hmm.
So that's also a good business that comes
Hmm.
out of it.
So expansion, the scope of expansion is certainly there in this
Certainly there.
business.
And you can
Hmm.
even park a cart inside a mall these days. In the
Hmm.
food courts, you'll see carts parked, although
Hmm.
they'll have wheels on them. That's the point, right?
Hmm.
They might not look like that they're movable, but the business in
Hmm.
such a way that they're movable.
They are movable.
They're
Okay.
movable.
Good. Good. Okay. So, any final thoughts on carts before we move to maybe the next thing? Next logical thing from a cart would be, say, a food truck.
Between them is another thing
Mm-hmm.
that you can sell food from the rear of your vehicle,
Okay, from your private vehicle. Okay, that's
from your
interesting.
private vehicle. So this
Mm-hmm.
business is usually with it's time specific, usually around the
Mm-hmm.
lunchtime, near
Mm-hmm.
office space or near a college.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what you do is that you have a home kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You cook your food in your home kitchen. You load everything into the trunk of your car. You park the
Mm-hmm.
car outside one of these places. You have a table. You
Mm-hmm.
place the food there. You're using disposable cutlery and
Mm-hmm.
crockery, and you're selling food. It usually
Okay.
involves one gravy, rice, and the
Mm-hmm.
gravy keeps on changing every day. Some
Mm-hmm.
people have started doing 2 gravies a day, and it depends the kind of place you're selling and the cost you're selling at. All the margins are not very high in this business, but it's a good way to know how much people will like your business. And since it's a cash business, and you can, if you're placed in a good place, you parked in a good place, you can easily make good amount of money.
So it's a volume game.
It's a
You'll be
volume.
able to move a lot of volume. If you're able to move a lot of volume, you will end up making money.
Yes, it's more
Mm.
to do with the volume,
Mm.
right? And it also depends upon the location. So
Mm.
let's say there's a posh office space somewhere, you can charge 10
Mm.
rupees extra for the same product
Mm.
that you will
Mm.
do at some other place. So that
Right.
also matters. But in
Mm.
this business, what matters most is that it's
Location.
location, and second, you can
Mm.
only sell one product,
Mm.
right? The innovation part in this is that people have started pre-packaging food, and they've
Mm.
started delivering from this place to as tiffins, as lunch boxes. So
To the
every
offices
to the
directly.
offices directly. And that
Okay.
is the only innovation part that you can get out of it. It's
Mm.
tough, but it's doable.
It is doable. Mm.
Yes.
Mm.
Um, the
Okay.
the negative points to this is that getting food permissions is tough,
Mm.
right? Since the medium is not actually recognized a lot in most of the
Mm.
places.
Mm.
Now, second is parking your vehicle. Since
Parking your vehicle. Yeah. Yes.
yes,
I completely understand because one of my cousins started this business. The first challenge that he faced was no one was allowing him to park his vehicle just anywhere.
yes,
There is some amount of cartel also linked there. So they won't allow a new person. So I think before you get into this business, it's very important that you do a recce, go to the place where you want to park and seek what is the procedure or what all is involved to park there,
yes.
right?
You really need to understand what goes on um,
Hmm.
locally and with the police and everything in this business.
Hmm.
But it's a
Hmm.
good way to know that
Hmm.
the flavor you're cooking
Hmm.
is a good flavor or not. The
Hmm.
only thing extra you can do with this business is, and many people have started doing it, Ashish. Now people really like to donate in India. So food donation is one of the, what we call langar, right? Is a very common practice. So many of these people have started placing themselves as a langar saver.
Okay.
So they start cooking food at home. They pre-package it in and just carry it in the trunk of their car, wherever you want. And they place the food there for you. You simply give the langar out and they get the cans back.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Absolutely.
So that's the only innovation that has come
So
into
people
this.
can approach you that we want to have langar served for say 100 people in
Yes,
front of a hospital or in front of a religious place. You take that order, you load your van or your truck with those many food trays, and simply go and serve there.
yes.
So you're
Or
not
on a small
buying,
party.
or you are not getting paid by the people who are getting the food, but from the person who arranges that langar, right?
Exactly, Ashish. So it's a wonderful
Hmm.
idea. You can do this. And
Oh, absolutely.
running a party food is tough from this business.
Hmm.
Where
Hmm.
somebody is only doing one dish or two dish party, then you can deliver the
Hmm.
food to them.
Hmm.
So if somebody needs only, let's say, rajma rice or curry rice with that, then these
Right.
people are able to deliver it. But then
But then you are just running as a delivery service. You don't need to really park your car outside because
yes,
no one will have a party where people will come and eat food from a car, right?
yes, exactly. That is
Hmm.
there. But this is the only ways you can innovate in this business.
Hmm.
And the Langar
Hmm.
Seva, according to me, is a brilliant
Oh,
innovation.
that's a wonderful idea. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
But
Okay. Okay.
overall, the problems in this business comes from the law and order perspective, more from the
Okay.
government regulations, and you have to be
Hmm.
very, very careful regarding it. The third is
Hmm.
if you're doing it, actually trying to sell lunch from the vehicle, there's a lot of competition in this business,
Hmm.
and there's not much margin in it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you'll be operating on a razor.
Maybe one has to look for new places, new office
Yes,
spaces where still there is no competition, so you get a first mover advantage kind of a thing.
exactly.
So yeah, you'll have to identify places.
And
Don't
and the
think of
local
places which
police
are
might not be
already
kind to you,
overcrowded,
Ashish.
right? Hmm.
And I said local police might not be that kind to you. So you have
Right.
to look into
Right.
those things as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
the cons to this business. Otherwise,
Okay.
selling food is always profitable,
Hmm.
according to me.
But this also, from what I can make out, this is a low investment business in terms of even lesser investment than a food cart, right?
Yes, this is, but the challenges are more than a food cart.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
So the next
Okay.
logical step from here is a food truck, Ashish.
Food truck. Okay.
Yes. So with a food truck, what happens is that you need to have a vehicle.
Hmm.
First, you need to buy a truck. It can be an
Okay.
old truck or a new truck, that depends upon you. So the
Hmm.
cost is going to vary a lot from 75,000 to 5
Hmm.
lakhs. It all depends upon,
Oh, really?
yes.
Hmm.
So there are,
So when you say food truck, can you just give me the name of a few brands or trucks which are being used as food trucks or can be converted?
usually the small vehicles are converted,
Okay.
like Tata 407 and stuff like that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's not
Hmm.
actually like the little Chota Hathi kind of a thing. It's larger
Hmm.
than that because you actually
Okay.
need
They're larger
space
than that.
inside
Okay.
to work.
Hmm.
So it's like
Right.
you need that space to work.
Hmm.
So the food truck, it starts from 75,000 to any bit between 5 lakhs. Then you need to invest at least 3 lakh rupees on top of it. So 1.5 to
Okay.
3 lakhs for the kitchen setup and the body and everything. You
Okay.
need to know
Hmm.
what you're going to sell. For example,
Hmm.
if somebody wants a tandoor inside a food truck, Now they'll have to
Okay.
get a portion of their trucks done with the fire brick tiles on the side as well as on the bottom, so that
Hmm.
no damage is done to the chassis of the truck. And they need a
Hmm.
ventilation on the top. So you
Hmm.
need to look at all those things in a food truck. The
Hmm.
important thing in a food truck is, Ashish, that you need to design your kitchen according to
Hmm.
what you want to sell.
Okay.
So if you're selling Indian tandoor, then you need to
Hmm.
design your kitchen with the heat resistant materials, because tandoor is going to create a lot of heat inside.
A lot of heat.
There is
Yes.
enough
Yes.
ventilation inside so that there's no risk of carbon monoxide and other things.
Hmm.
That's another problem, right?
Hmm.
Second,
Hmm.
you should know the workflow in which you're going to work. So
Okay.
your stoves need to be aligned properly, your fryer needs to
Hmm.
be aligned properly. Although it's a
Hmm.
big topic on how to arrange the kitchen, but
Hmm.
I'm just briefly letting you know.
Right. Maybe we'll have a full episode on this one, but yeah,
Yes,
that is
but
something that one needs to keep in mind.
keep in mind, because
Hmm.
the flow of the kitchen determines how much are you going to spend on it,
Hmm.
right? That's one part. The second part
Hmm.
is that food truck needs multiple people to run it. So
Okay.
it's with you, you need to hire
Hmm.
people who can cook food or serve food in a food truck. There's one person who's
Hmm.
going to be taking orders, excuse me,
Hmm.
and there are going to be a couple of people out there
Hmm.
who are going
Hmm.
to cook
Be
food,
serving it and all
serving
that.
it,
Right.
collecting the plates back. If it's not
Hmm.
disposable, if it's disposable, then keeping the
Hmm.
surroundings clean. So even
Hmm.
if there's no litter out there, your
Hmm.
product is more to look at.
Hmm.
It's good and nice.
Money has to be collected. So
Collected.
it's like running a mobile restaurant.
Yes, mobile restaurant. The good part about
Hmm.
food truck is it's recognized by most of the corporations or the
Okay.
local governments. So there are
Hmm.
actual vending zones which have been given to the food trucks, and
Hmm.
most of them have electricity connections attached to them. So
Okay.
that is a very good thing about the food truck. Now, there are
Hmm.
prepaid meters these days, so you pay for the amount of electricity that you use.
Hmm.
So that keeps the
Hmm.
refrigeration on inside the food truck,
Okay.
right? Even if you don't have a base kitchen, food truck
Hmm.
lets you cook food inside because it's a full-fledged kitchen inside. And if you have a
Hmm.
base kitchen, then the amount of food that you can carry inside a food truck simply doubles, because you don't need to carry the raw
Doubles.
material. You're
Hmm.
only cooking a pre-packaged,
Hmm.
pre-cooked food to some extent,
Pre-cooked
and then
food.
you're
Correct.
selling it,
Hmm.
right?
That makes so much more sense, no? Having a
Yes,
base kitchen, have partially cooked food, and you're just assembling it there.
yes. There's another way you can use the food truck, that these days on a
Hmm.
small parties, people
Hmm.
simply park their food truck outside the home and they use it as a catering business.
Right.
So that is doneable during the evening hours or during the daytime. So that is doneable. You
Hmm.
need to know what you're going to sell in it. That's the most important thing in a food truck,
Hmm.
right? But there's
Hmm.
another thing to the food truck. If your business, let's say you started with Italian food, right, on a food truck,
Hmm.
it didn't work,
Hmm.
right? You can change
Hmm.
the branding, okay, and you can start selling Mexican the next day.
Yeah,
It,
right.
it
Yeah.
totally
Hmm.
works out in a food
Hmm.
truck.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
You might need to change the layout of the kitchen, agreeable,
Hmm.
but it's
Hmm.
easy to change your brand. It's
Hmm.
easy to work in a food truck. The only
Hmm.
con to a food truck is that there's a lot of investment involved in it,
Hmm.
and you need to know what you're doing. Usually,
Hmm.
it's a couple of friends who get together. They're
Hmm.
sick and tired of working in a five-star or a hotel
Yeah.
kitchen, and they really want to go out and explore the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
right? Some of them even drive around the country these days,
Hmm. Hmm.
Ashish.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they want to
Hmm.
drive around cooking food, learning new things, learning new skills. How
Hmm.
youngsters are these days, and they have the freedom to do it, right?
Hmm.
So they learn so much while
Hmm.
traveling and cooking food, and they do so much about it.
Right. Right.
So that's the good thing
So
about food truck.
one is looking at about 10 to 12 lakhs of initial investment in this kind of a business, huh?
7 to 12 lakhs. It depends what you're
Hmm.
going to do with it.
Depending on the truck
Truck, depending upon the
Hmm.
truck and what you're going to sell in it. For
and the
example,
kitchen that you
for
set up.
example, Ashish, if somebody is selling waffles,
Hmm.
so the machinery required for waffles are it's totally different and it's cheaper,
Hmm.
right, than selling a
Hmm.
Mexican or Italian food,
Indian
food
Hmm.
especially, right?
Hmm.
You need
Hmm.
to store gravies, you need to have kind of refrigeration. So it
Hmm.
totally depends upon the kind of business you're doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Another thing you
Right.
can do with the food truck, Ashish, is if you don't want to spend too much and you
Hmm.
get that Tata small Hathi thing, you
Hmm.
can totally
Hmm.
convert it into a langar van and you can only do langar on wheels,
Okay.
right?
Same as the
The
one
car,
we were talking about from the rear of your car.
rear of the car, but it's much more
Hmm.
organized,
Hmm.
better, and you have much more
Hmm.
mobility. But in this
Hmm.
one, you give the langar right from your van.
Hmm.
You're not placing canisters here and there on a
Hmm.
bench. In this one,
Right.
you're just serving food right from there.
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
can charge
Hmm.
per day. And it's a brilliant business. There's so many
Right.
people who want to do it. So one
Right.
can look at it as a business.
Hmm.
Somebody needs to
I
cook
saw
food.
a very interesting thing. Yeah, I'm sure you would have seen it too. If you remember, there was one person who I can't call it a food truck. It was more of a food bus, if I can say. So what he'd done is that he'd changed the first floor or the base as a kitchen, and on the roof of this bus, he'd placed a few chairs
Yes.
and tables and just a ladder on the side or a staircase on the side. So you go up onto the roof of the bus or the truck, and you have a place to sit.
Yes.
So that was an interesting thing.
It looks very nice, but it increases the amount of investment that you're going to put into it.
Investment drastically. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think, Ashish, we need more time to finish the food truck thing.
Hmm.
And let's carry it on to the next episode,
Perfect.
right? Then we can discuss
Hmm.
in detail the amount of um, cost associated with it and everything.
Hmm.
Hanai?
Perfect.
So let's call it a day today.
Okay,
Hanai?
perfect. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you and happy cooking to you all. And we'll see you in the next episode with more about food truck business. Thank you. Bye.